Not only is it giver of his time, which is our most valuable asset, but on top of that, he has real results. He asked me, what do you want me to talk about? And I said, I don't really care if you're good at speaking. I don't really care exactly what you say, because your results speak for themselves. They what?
Speak for themselves.
The results speak for themselves, and that's what all of us want, is that we push super hard in an area of our life until we get a result. Once we get the result, we can now stand on that result, and we don't have to do certain things. That's why Cole Hatter always makes fun of me for how well I dress normally, because he's like, I don't need to do that because I make millions and millions of dollars. So because of that, I stand on my millions, and you have to dress nice to look good. Where he's wearing Chuck Taylors in business meetings. He walks into his bank with flip-flops on, and they treat him like he's like a god because of the millions of dollars that goes through his account. So I just want to appreciate, let's give a warm welcome to my friend Sean Cannel.
What's up, gentlemen? My name's Sean, and I'm super pumped to be here today. Seriously, an honor to be in a room of leaders, and definitely know the reputation of this tribe, and so I'm really pumped to connect. A little bit of background, I think a couple themes we can touch on that I could definitely speak to, and because this is more of a mastermind, I'm excited for Q&A and maybe working on our businesses. We, in the first 2 years of business, we just did about 7 figures, and we're on track. We just had our 6-figure month to do a 7-figure year and to repeat that over and over now. And I've built a multimedia company here out of Vegas, doing YouTube and online video with about 6 people on the team. So I feel like digital courses, paid ads, certainly online video, but even team building and leadership are all topics we could touch on today. But a little bit of backstory as far as how I got into this in the first place. I actually started doing online video at my local church. It wasn't online, actually. I started doing video production in 2003, volunteering at my church an hour north of Seattle. And today, we have about 700,000 subscribers on YouTube, over 43 million video views on my videos personally. And that's kind of insane because I come from this small town, no connections in media, nobody in my family's from LA, like nobody was in Hollywood. But I think all of you in this room would know that we're living in an era where you can come from total obscurity, like nobody knowing you, but because of the internet and social media, your whole life can be absolutely revolutionized. Like it's crazy to think to have a business built around, you know, my lifestyle, all because of social, coming from literally a small town that nobody would know. In fact, does anybody know Marysville, Washington? Yes, one person, my brother. I love that. But in 2003, I got started in video, got married young too that same year. I met my wife, Sonia, and got married that year. But really, a lot of what led to where I am today was just 2 years later, she went on a trip. Like, whoa, how am I going to provide, and how am I going to be a leader? How am I going to be, you know, a provider? Especially because when we first started, we were bootstrapping. She was working multiple jobs. I was working multiple jobs and volunteering at a church and not getting paid there, trying to like learn my passion, trying to like figure this stuff out. And eventually it got to the place where she got to 82 pounds and almost died and had to have a feeding tube installed. And we ended up rushing to the hospital, and we ended up in the hospital for 6 days in Seattle. And it was actually during those 6 days where I especially was just like, man, what am I doing? And what are we gonna do? And I just kind of wanted to lead out with that story too, because I feel like as men, I'm sure you've all had those moments and those things that forged who you are and gave you like a new fight. And that's really what it was for me. I really tapped into a whole new dimension of purpose, like, man, I gotta step up. I gotta start not just making baby money, I gotta start making some big money. And I need to design a business that's built around a lifestyle where I can be present with her and work from home, and whatever future, we don't have kids yet, but whatever our future looks like, where I can really, you know, crush it and provide for my family and take care of my wife. You know, fast forward to today, it's called gastroparesis. We're still living through those challenges, but she's doing really well, and especially we're doing really well because taking all financial burden off of my family, and now being in a place where we're scaling our business and things like that. And I feel like that's really driven out of that purpose. But before we even talk about YouTube and stuff, I feel like if you're taking notes, really just write down, what's your why. And if you're in this tribe, I know you're talking about your why all the time, but like, I feel like in a weekend like this, getting back in touch with our purpose. Like, why do you want to build a business? Like, why do you want the followers? Why do you want the finances? And I think that the fame and the money is all good, but that's of course secondary, isn't it? Like, there's always a deeper purpose than that. And I feel like to build something truly great, we have to have a source of motivation that's a little bit deeper than just these surface things. I feel like those are byproducts of that really deep reason that's inside your heart and inside of my heart. And it was during that time where I not only was like, I need to provide for my family, but I also started seeing the potential of what can happen right now online. On YouTube right now, we are getting about 2,500 to 3,500 views every 60 minutes. So like why we hang out maybe for the next hour and a half, 2 hours, 5,000 humans on a Sunday morning are seeing me show up on the other side and be like, hey, what's up, Sean here? Like, are you looking for a camera or whatever? And that's kind of what our YouTube channel is about. But that is insane. That's how much traffic we're getting every 60 minutes right now. And I just say that because literally the potential for you to scale your business and scale what you're doing to the frickin' moon is so insane right now, right? And online video is a great way to do that. So fast forward to today. We're based here in Vegas, and I live here, so it's cool that you guys, thanks for coming to my hometown to hang out. Appreciate it. And we're doing a lot of cool things. So I wrote down 5 things about YouTube in particular that I think are important. We can also talk online video, but YouTube was the vehicle and the mechanism for me that really changed everything. And discovering a few things about YouTube, before we get into those 5 things, back in around 2010, as we're going through hell and trying to figure out what's happening in our life, I started to experiment on YouTube, and I started doing YouTube videos and affiliate marketing. Everybody here familiar with affiliate marketing? Raise your hand. 2 clap. Yeah, awesome. You got so, and what I actually ended up putting out was, originally it was just experimenting. It wasn't really, I didn't have a vision for business, but I put out a video called Gift Ideas for Him. And I thought, okay, if I just grab some stuff around the house, because what I discovered, and this is actually point number 1, I discovered that YouTube is a search engine. YouTube is a search engine, and you might know that, but it's really worth paying attention to. YouTube is a search engine. In fact, it's the 2nd largest search engine in the world. It's the 2nd largest website in the world. Google's number 1, and YouTube's number 2. Facebook is the 3rd largest website in the world, and Google owns YouTube. So for investors, I think that's also something that we pay attention to, isn't it? Because Google is crushing, and YouTube is a major force and a major player. So I discovered that YouTube is a search engine, and I discovered affiliate marketing, which is Amazon.com, and that if you put an affiliate link to something on that site in the description of a video, and you talk about some stuff in the video and you link to it, if someone clicks it and makes the purchase, you get paid 4 to 10%. So if someone spends $100, you can make $4 to $10 off of that transaction. The other thing is that when someone clicks that link, if they're like, whatever you talked about a supplement, you talked about something for health, but they're like, oh, well, I'm not actually going to buy that today, but hey, it is my wife's birthday or my husband's birthday or something, I'm going to buy him, a Rolex, you would get commission on that as well. And I remember when one time I was looking at my affiliate sales and I saw someone purchased a $1,500 gold coin from Amazon.com. Number 1, I didn't know you could buy gold coins on Amazon.com. I didn't know that was what place for that. Number 2, I've never made a video, anything related to that, but because there was so much traffic out there of people clicking links, it scaled income pretty fast. So we made that original video. If you type it in today and search gift ideas for him, it still ranks in those top search results. So you might not use YouTube as a search engine, but a lot of people do. And so people are typing stuff in, like how do I boost my testosterone, or how do I balance my checkbook, or how do I save money on taxes, or how do I shred belly fat, without dieting, or whatever it is. And videos are showing up on the other side of those search inquiries by people. So that video ranked, and we started to make money online, and I was like, man, we're making $5 a month. We're making $25 a month. We're making $250 a month. And eventually, once I got to a place of seeing like a little bit of side income was happening, we went all in. And now we do over 6 figures a year just off Amazon, which means we do about $5 million in sales for Amazon a year, which is insane. So we did that first, and then started doing digital products, and that scaled even faster. But the first point to write down is YouTube is a search engine. YouTube is a search engine, and are you leveraging that fact for your business? The second point, if I was using online video and specifically YouTube, is that if you're not using YouTube, even if all you did was this would be like 101 for how you should use YouTube for business. What are the top 10 to 20 frequently asked questions related to your business? You all have frequently asked questions, right? Right?
Yes.
And on your website, you might have answers to those questions. And those questions could be internal, like how to do business with you. People aren't looking for that because they don't know you yet. But there's questions of what are the questions that lead to you? What are the questions that lead to you? The questions that the avatar you're targeting, your target audience, is looking for. Rob's a good example with flamethrowers because there's people that are asking, how do you make a flamethrower? And his video can show up on the other side of that search, and he can add some free content, some free tips, some free value, and then that can funnel into his business. It's really that simple. And the way to start, though, is having 10 to 20 videos that are kind of like your FAQs. This is also a big advantage that even if you never scale your YouTube channel to the moon and get lots of traffic and views, in your business, you should templatize and videotize the things that you have to answer over and over again so that it's systematizable. So we get all this email inbound now, all this inbox inquiries about all kinds of stuff. If we hear the same question enough, we'll eventually turn it into a video, because then they can just answer with the video, My team just sends it to the person and answers it with a video. But the second thing to do is write down your first 10 to 20 video ideas. And you have your phones, grab your phones really quick. Maybe you're not, I don't know if you're normally allowed to do that or something, if it's like a no phone policy or something. But go to YouTube if you have the YouTube app and open it up. And when you do, you can go to the YouTube search bar. And when you get to the YouTube search bar, just start typing something. But try something start typing like how to lose. Give me that one. How to lose, L-O-S-E. How to lose.
Lose weight.
And you see how it starts predicting? Yeah. So those predictions in the YouTube search bar there are what real people are searching in order by volume. And because YouTube's finishing your sentence, Google, the search engine on the back end, is finishing your sentence for you. But if you were ever wondering how should you word that question, or what are some roads that could lead to you in your business, people are going to the search bar right now and saying, you type in Bitcoin and then put a space after it. You'll start seeing a whole bunch of other predictions, right? What do you see? Or just type in cryptocurrency.
Bitcoin explained. Bitcoin mining. Bitcoin for dummies.
What do you think it'd be worth if you're in the crypto space to be the top ranking video for Bitcoin explained? And it's priceless, and it would just drive massive traffic to you, to your business. That's really the thesis, and that is where you find how to title your content. You might type, if you type in meal prep, you could see different, it might be meal prep chicken, meal prep whatever. Now, if you're on a laptop, are you on Wi-Fi? If you go to the YouTube search bar, type in meal prep, but then put an underscore before it in a space.
Before meal prep?
Yeah.
Before? Got it.
And then what happened? Did it put it in the middle of a sentence?
Vegan meal prep, healthy meal prep.
So it doesn't really work on mobile, but if you're on desktop, if you put an underscore and a space in front of the words, now it just puts that phrase in a sentence. So maybe you're looking for video ideas and you're like, well, how to, or best ways to, whatever. There's a lot of different ways to do it, but you could put it in a sentence, especially on, it might work on some, maybe Android, I'm not sure, but usually desktop you need to do that. But that's the thesis. YouTube is a search engine, and if you get, what are the frequently asked questions in your business, but then what are the opportunities for you in your business to have content that could be generating traffic for you on an ongoing basis. For me, I teach online video. I've been doing video for 15 years, and part of what I teach people is I help them with the cameras, the lighting, those types of things. So if you try on YouTube now, type in like best camera for YouTube, or type in best lighting for YouTube, and you fill in the blank. I have systematically gone after the roads that lead to my business. And somebody will see that, they'll start learning the tip side, which is cameras and lighting and microphones, or maybe tripods, whatever it is.
Number one.
Yeah, I see five. I have 5 thumbnails, and 3 of them are of you.
There you go.
There you go.
That's the dream. And once I figured that out, and it was back in 2010 when I made that gift ideas, and even if you want to check that, you can type in gift ideas for him. That's an old one now. When I made that, I was like, wait a minute. Like, if I did this over and over and over again, now in my niche, it's pretty, everything's relative. So like if you're in, far less people are searching for tax information than are searching for cameras for YouTube. So you want to always like consider what your niche is. However, we have a lot of real estate agents that are in our courses in our community, and they don't need 1,000 views on a video or even 10 views a week. They really only need 1. If someone's looking for Phoenix, Arizona real estate, or here in Vegas, Summerlin, which would be much more narrow, that's a tip, is rather than go broad after the huge ideas in your business, just like anybody who's done SEO before, you want to go long tail. So if it's like how to meal prep chicken, organic, non-GMO, now you're like getting a little more specific, and you could probably take all the traffic from that. And when I started to think, even if this search term only gets 1 view a week, that's a video talking to potential customers and lifers and people I can serve once a week for the next 6, 2, 3, sometimes 4 years. I have videos that are still ranking, and that's why it's almost like I consider a ranked video like an employee that you only pay once, but works for you for free for weeks, months, and years to come. Because video, you might be sitting here too, you're like, well, it's kind of hard to create video content. I don't know if I want to get on camera, I don't know if I want to do that stuff. And that is true, or the time that goes into it. But if it ranks for you, how much is it worth to you to spend a day putting out a couple videos that could still be working for you in 2 years? It's worth a lot. So it's worth figuring out, it's worth putting in the work. It's worth shooting 10 videos, only having 2 rank, and those 2 make the whole shoot worth it. Plus the other 8 still added value to your audience. You can still send them to your email list. You can still help people. You can still serve your audience, but 2 might generate and be your winners that crush it. Nicholas.
Facebook, obviously, videos die the majority of the time.
Yeah.
That's obviously a big difference besides paid traffic. And then for YouTube, have you ever taken the same video and uploaded it multiple times with like a different name?
You can do that if your only strategy was to use YouTube like mechanically to just try to siphon traffic. But if you want to build a brand, I wouldn't do that because there's also attention there, right? And that's actually an important thing to note. There's probably 2 paths for using YouTube for your businesses. One would be a tactical, I don't want to build a presence there, but I would love to get out 20 videos that if they rank, they could just drive traffic to me, and I'm going to ignore the platform. Might be hard to do because your consistency on any platform is what helps. But the other way would be actually building a show. And that's what I recommend people do. I think that sitting in this room, you should seriously consider, and you might be considering, should I start a podcast? Should I be weekly live streaming on Facebook Live? Should I be whatever else, doing stories full time? But I think you should consider doing a YouTube show. I don't know if it's right for all of you, but it makes me think of someone like Marie Forleo. Does anyone know Marie Forleo? Wave at me. How about like Brendan Burchard? Wave at me. Brendan Burchard is, he's done a weekly show called The Charge Life. Now it's called The Brendan Show for 3 years. And if you've ever seen it, what he does is he batch produces with his videographer, Travis Shields. They'll shoot 4 videos at a time. He goes down with his notes, teaches. The ending is already cut up, and he just teaches on camera. They throw the ending on there. He throws up a weekly show, and he's done that for years. And he's done it as part of a way to realize that YouTube is really like, YouTube and Facebook are like ABC and NBC in the world we're living in. And not only are they kind of becoming that now, they will be that in the future. So what does it mean for you, as many of you know real estate in here, what's the value of having real estate and really good location real estate? What's the value of you and your brand having a show? But that's a big commitment. That's why I say 2 paths. That's like saying, well, shoot, a weekly show that I might do for a while. Kevin?
Sean, how often do you recycle through your content? Because in my mind, it's like you can possibly only talk about the best lighting for so many videos or the best equipment. So what's your formula or mindset around creating content in a way where people just like, I haven't heard that one already?
So 2 things. Number 1, I think annually is a good refresh time. So a lot of times I have best camera for YouTube once a year actually, because that's updated, it's technology. The other thing is, and this is probably a big internet marketing principle that I'm noticing, and I think I would be curious if it's a trend you're seeing, but I believe it's true as well, is that I don't think anybody's paying as much attention to us as we think they are. And I think that's an opportunity for us. I think we think if we do a Facebook live stream or something and you see 500 views, you're like, oh man, 500 people, man. Oh, that feels good, 500 people. 500 people did not connect with you, see that, engage with that, right? Probably 50 people did, maybe 30. But it's just because it's just important to know. And the reason I say that is like, I don't think any of us are putting out near enough content, because that content, even repetitious content, we think we're going to annoy people. That would be a great problem to have. Annoying them would be a great problem, because here's the point: they're actually not paying as much attention. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So
Hive does it obviously all the time. Crypto.
Yeah. Did anybody here watch Gary Vaynerchuk?
Yeah.
Dude, how much does he say the same thing over and over and over and over and over and over? And that's actually a good thing to note. Like, he's just, because he also realizes, like, even the consumption of, say, like a Daily V episode at 20 minutes, people are not watching all. Some people are, but it's a long tail. So he's realizing, man, I need to like not just 10x my content, I need 100x my content. And if I'm annoying somebody, that's a great problem, because that's a super fan that's like, hey, why are you saying the same? If they're saying, why are you saying the same thing? That's a gift of how much attention they've actually given you. But for most of us, we should be putting out a lot more content.
So for 2 questions, is there a length of the show you recommend? Because I hear the longer the YouTube channel, obviously there's engagement, it's better.
Yeah. So a new study was released, because the old mindset was that YouTube videos should be between 3 to 5 minutes. It was kind of that cat video, viral video era. But now YouTube is so much more legitimized. Side note, 1.5 billion monthly logged in users on YouTube. And millennials are watching YouTube videos about an hour a night, more than any primetime cable network. So the new primetime, when you guys remember primetime, like, I don't know if it was like Seinfeld, Friends, like Full House, come on, I don't know what you guys grew up on. But all these different primetime shows, primetime now is YouTube for millennials. And so anyways, that's a huge opportunity. So the length that they discovered was 7 to 16 minutes was the new optimal length of videos. I like to say that your videos, don't make them longer if you're just inflating the content. Like, there's no reason to waste people's time, but create ideas that take longer and they require that much content. Your videos should be as long as they need to be, but as short as possible. So make content that needs to be about 10 to 15 minutes. That's like and that's exactly what Brendan's shows are.
So for his show, I haven't seen it, is he just talking about like points that he's asking, or is he interviewing people?
Just complete, he's just extemporaneous, and he just goes, hey, today I'm going to talk about motivation. I got 5 things for you. And I think he's using it for outreach. He also does a lot of paid traffic. But again, he's also using it, and that's why I think a weekly show is valuable, because we all want to build tribes. We all want to build communities, and it gives you a pillar of content at which you can rally your whole tribe around once a week. You know, like, and even if it's just, and think about refreshing those topics. I mean, even him, maybe it's like high performance, and then it's motivation, and then it's persuasion, and a year later, he's kind of going back through, and there's new distinctions and insights. So
it's all intentional too, right, Sean? It needs to be a...
Oh, it's all intentional.
Yeah.
Yeah, you want this stuff to be good. So number 1, YouTube is a search engine. Number 2, what are the 10 to 20 videos off of those search topics that you could create? Again, even if all you did was put up 20 videos around the ideas you could get out of the YouTube search bar, you now are positioned to not only those could rank, but those also could be shared on an ongoing basis on your social media. Like, they could be shared in answer to emails. They could be your best answer to the question you're getting all the time that could funnel into doing business with you at another level. Before I answer a question, imagine doing fitness and you get social media questions, you get email questions, you're like, hey, start with this, a really killer video you can always point people to, and then that video, though, leads to your webinar, leads to whatever else the next step to learn more about you is.
Is there any repurposing of the videos, like taking the YouTube video and sharing it on Facebook or anything that damages maybe the reputation or how high it is in the search engines?
I don't think so at all. So if you share to it from other places, that's good for the backlinking a little bit. But these days, like if you put a YouTube link on Facebook, it just destroys the reach. You're better off actually uploading the video to Facebook.
That's what I'm saying. So take the video, upload it to YouTube, and if you want to put that video on Facebook, just take the video specifically, upload it to Facebook.
Exactly. It's going to reach more. And you're not going to hurt. You're going to reach. The goal is to actually reach people where they are in each case and do less sending across.
Yeah.
And the tweak would be, if you have your pillar of content, this week you're going to sit down and teach the 5 tips of motivation or 3, crypto trends, whatever it is. You could shoot that core content in the middle, but the start and the end could be a Facebook intro and outro. And that could be a real easy framework. So like, hey, what's up, Facebook? Today we're talking about this. Let's jump into it. And then everyone could be like, hey, what's up, YouTube? Today we're talking about this. Let's jump into it. And then at the end on Facebook, you could say, hey, like the page. And on YouTube, you'd say, hey, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss weekly content. Makes sense? Like you're just kind of DJing each piece.
Yeah.
Sean, if you're new to things, do you suggest maybe using like Zoom that you can go live on YouTube? What's your thoughts on that? Like with video and stuff, we're using our phone. What are some good tips on that?
Number 3, YouTube Live is the quickest way to get started. There you go. So yeah, that's a great question. So YouTube Live it's kind of like a little known feature in a way. I mean, it makes sense, but it's sort of less popular because it also, especially if you don't really have a YouTube channel or you don't have an audience there, and even if you do have an audience there, if you go live on YouTube, there's probably no one's going to see it. Like you're probably, even if you got subscribers, it's just a little bit different. The distribution of that content is different than Facebook because it's not shared amongst friends of friends. However, going live in real time can be just a video. So you could just sit down at your computer. If you just wanted to share for 5-10 minutes and you've got content to teach, you could just teach right in front of a webcam, share content, and then end that. And it's actually, does that make sense? It's done. And that's it.
So is there a different, like on I just upgraded my Zoom account to go live on YouTube. Is that, for me, is that the best way to do it, or is there?
That's pretty easy to do. You go, there's a little bit, you could Google how to go live on YouTube. And that's great too, because that's great for like an interview show. You can easily pull that in. You can also just easily go live with Google Hangouts, which is just YouTube is back end. So all you need is like a USB mic and a webcam, or even if you don't have a USB mic, and you could be just up and teaching. I wonder, can I?
Those live videos, they stay on YouTube like they do on Facebook?
Can you, Nicholas, can you help me get to YouTube?
Can you edit a YouTube live video?
You can't really edit it, but one of the things that I do for interviews, I interviewed Grant Cardone a few months ago when he released Be Obsessive, Be Average. I did a Google Hangout, but I made it unlisted. So I was just interviewing, nobody's watching, let YouTube record it, downloaded it, and put a different intro and outro. Like, hey, what's up, guys? I'm about to cut over to this content. Nicholas, can you help me find Safari?
Yeah, absolutely.
Or just open up a YouTube window? So yeah, YouTube Live is the quickest way. You need I think you maybe need 100 or 1,000 subscribers, or you just have to verify your account. You can go live from your phone, but I recommend just a webcam or a camera. And one tip, like, can you search or for me and just search search Canon 4K mirrorless. It's weird. 4K. Yeah, mirrorless camera. That's great. So this is a good kind of a case study here. That top video is, see, it says streamed 1 week ago. And go ahead, let's just check it out for a second. Now, it's a pretty fancy camera, but I've gotten equal, the production value never is what matters, it's the content value. Just let that ad play out, I'm getting paid. No, just kidding, I'm just kidding.
Click.
In this video, we're going to be talking about the upcoming announcement from Canon about a possible mirrorless camera that might have 4K video. This video has 19,000 views. It's 10 minutes long. It's streamed in real time, no editing.
Do you want me to play it?
Yeah, that's fine. We're just gonna.
Building your influence with online video. And this is a live stream, but if you're on the replay, thanks so much for being here. And what we're talking about is an announcement from Canon on CannelRumors.com.
This is it.
A couple disclaimers.
Right?
Number one,
So.
this is still rumors.
That seems like it has a lot of engagement too. Like,
Yeah, and so there's a lot going on here strategically, and one is, again, how the video is titled is completely based off that conversation we just had. It's finding like these trending topics. A huge principle for getting like discovered in content, and write this down, is don't necessarily just talk about topics that you're passionate about. Join the conversations that are already happening online related to your business and brand. So Brendan Burchard's a good example. When Grit, the book Grit by Angela Duckworth was like kind of trending and was blowing up, he actually did a video, his thing, and he titled it "How to Get Grit." Right when that book was trending, he opens a video, hey, what's up, guys, you maybe have heard this concept of grit, and there's of course the book by Angela Duckworth, great book, but here's my take, and that's the nod he gave to the trend, but then he just gave his 2 cents. In this video, when I read on CannelRumors.com, all I did was I read a blog post and I was like, this is gonna be hot in my industry. You know what's hot in your industry, or you should know what's hot in your industry. And rather than, again, if I was talking about Fuji, different kind of camera, if I was talking about 35 millimeter film from Fuji, that's not hot. That would be like 20 years ago. So maybe I would attract a few enthusiasts and I'd get like 100 views. But the reason this has 21,000 views, but it's also getting about 100 views an hour right now, because I just jumped right into the middle of a hot trending conversation, period, end of story. And then the way I titled it, and again, so I just talk on it. So if a breaking health thing happens, especially if you be more polarizing. I knew this would be there's people that are like, no, it's all about Sony now. Canon sucks. Sony's the winner. Oh, finally Canon. I just knew this was that debate because I'm in touch with MySpace and MySpace? MySpace? MySpace is the new strategy for this. Yeah.
So you stream this one live. Is there a benefit of streaming it live the way you did versus just recording it and uploading it?
Not necessarily. I mean, there's benefits to both. The benefit of streaming it live was it was 10 minutes and then it was over.
Easy to deal with any of the.
Yeah. And it does give it a little boost to start, but only about 100 people were there live, and it has 21,000 views now.
So do you have to do Q&A and stuff because you're live?
You could, but what I didn't want, a lot of times I would, but I didn't want to sabotage the replay look of the video. I thought if somebody saw that it was so long, wow, this is good. Good place to be. That's what it is now. I'm just trying to get the end to play. So.
If you're new here, question of the day, just share them. Let me know in the comments. Do up the polls. Is 4K a big deal for you? Let me know.
And I planned my ending to use some of the new YouTube features, and now we're getting kind of into the weeds of all this stuff. But the reason I say that is because here's the point. Number 3, YouTube Live is just a simple way to get started. Could you just do one of these a week, figure it out over the next 52 weeks, put a little prep time, share some content, experiment? I think you could. And that's look, there's no setting up lighting. And so I have a videographer, and I'd love to talk about building a team and so on and so forth. But I actually asked my videographer, Omar, I was like, oh man, I'm super busy this week. Can we get this done? He's like, why don't you just go live? I was like, that's a good point. And so 10 minutes straight through, video was done. It's live on YouTube.
Did you use that camera right there, or how did you do it? How was that video done? Because it's very clear and capturing. When I look at that and look at some of the other stuff I see, I'm probably going to look at yours better because it's done so clear. How did you do
your
that?
computer camera is kind of suspect.
Well, I know, and I agree. I totally know what you're saying, but I really would want to make the point that the camera, the content, is infinitely more important than the camera. Infinitely. And to prove my point, let's see here. YouTube channel tips. Now, one thing I am doing is I am sharing my screen, like in these trainings. So a lot of times I'll treat these live streams like a webinar, and I'll be able to share my screen. But I think this also illustrates.
Are you promoting that live before, or are you just kind of getting on?
Either or.
Oh, look at this little.
Because again, even if nobody shows up.
All right, the comments.
Who is it? Oh, this is like. Do I have like double ads on? I don't like. Man, well, that's why we're getting the revenue. I don't know, actually. I've never seen that before. So this is a great example.
Hey, I think we're streaming in.
This has 163,000 views. And this webcam sucks. But it's $45. But why do people watch it? Because of the content value. That's what I mean, like write that down. Like if they watch your videos and they're lethargic before and you give them some tips and now they have energy, you know, from drinking better water, then they got results from you and you were the person that answered their question. And this was Google, so this is a $45 webcam, and then I can cut into like, I just like pre-did a slide deck. And so I actually am giving away like free micro webinars, about 20 minutes of content, training, and then I did Q&A on this. And it has 163,000 views, but this goes into our funnel. I know we're all over the place, guys, so stop me if you want, but we've got a couple more.
What about the description of the actual YouTube channel?
Do that.
Or not the channel, the video?
This is what.
So the description matters, and the biggest key is when you find that title that you found in search, is you just kind of want to build out that's keywords and SEO. You just want to build out what's in the description and the tags around one idea. Write this down. It's always one keyword phrase, one video. So rather than making like the longest, best video on testosterone boosting, it'd be better to make 5 videos that speak to all aspects in a series and put them in a playlist, because every video you put out there is like one hook in the ocean, and it's better to have more hooks in the ocean than all those concepts in one video, and it's easier to rank for that sniper idea. So you might be making videos about how to boost your testosterone naturally as a video, but then I actually later, maybe 2 months later, I'd make a video called how to boost your testosterone level, and then maybe 2 months later I'd make a video called how to boost your testosterone fast. And then if we did this and we came in here with the underscore before it, what is happening? Testosterone supplements. I might do a review, and then network marketing. I mean, I don't know. Testosterone before and after. I would, and eventually, this has been my strategy. Like for me, as much energy as I could every week, I would just get up and I would just take down, one by one, just take down these keywords, just sniper them down. And that's how we just built an empire of massive traffic. So number 3, YouTube Live is a simple way to get started. Question? So YouTube's a search engine. What are the 10 to 20 videos that would work in your niche? Or, and that's a good thing to start with first. Or like, can you start a weekly show? YouTube Live is a great way to get started. Number 4, these are 5 tips for using YouTube to grow your business, and then we can kind of dive more into whatever else. Then moving towards like creating higher quality videos over time. So like, I think that you could get started with just your phone, just talking to camera, like just off a webcam. Like you could make a list of these videos and you could YouTube Live them one a day. Could you just talk about how to boost my testosterone naturally? Would you even need to prepare for that?
I wouldn't need to prepare for any of that.
Exactly, right? So like we could turn.
I would do all of them in one.
You could do them all in one setting, but you could drip feed them out or help them with your and now you've got content rolling out. So when you figure out these topics, you already know this stuff, or you want to create videos around those search terms in your business. But then over time, as you start to scale it, I think it's important to level up your video production. So there is something about getting cameras and potentially also building a team around you. So there's a system, because I know you guys have businesses to run.
What webcam did you say was $46?
The Logitech C29, yeah, right there on Amazon.
All you have to do is YouTube best cheapest.
Yeah. You type in cheap cameras on YouTube, look at that one. It's got like.
Good question. So obviously you monetize directly from YouTube, and you have affiliate links
sir, do you have another place you're steering people to for further monetization, or is that kind of the two big ones?
Yeah, no, so this is kind of our funnel. And the way I look at it, in fact, for us, the main place that we send people to is tubeinfluence.com. And actually, what we've also done is we've created ranked videos that lead to URLs like this so that we can run evergreen. So the reason why is, like, in a video I'll say, and hey, then I'll build this out first. So this is a webinar, by the way. So that's a webinar. And then on the webinar is just a sale to our main course called Video Ranking Academy, which is how we teaches originally how I ranked videos, built a six-figure income, etc. And then that actually goes to like an upsell as far as what our funnel is. And that's a course called 10x Your Brand with YouTube, because we had a 10x year. And so because we know that, and this is on Evergreen now, and I probably, you guys have all probably heard from people who are like really good at funnels and really smart at funnels. We're the worst at funnels. This is called the simplest funnel ever made. We don't even use webinar software. They're just pages. You opt in, and the thank you page is watch the webinar. And that's it. There's a buy button below it. And the courses are selling every single day.
Traffic is all from just people organically going through.
Yeah, so when we get into how it all breaks down, is then what I realized is that, and this is, it's kind of basic funnel, which is just your content. And content could be like a YouTube video. And so in this video, eventually, let me see here. I think I might be a Q&A here or something. But just to, anyway, the idea is at some point we're just saying, hey, if you want to learn more, it's brought to you by a webinar. I think the best.
Did you always succeed most?
The best way, like at some point it's in there. So it's like, hey, here's, and by the way, this will be another principle, is make exceptionally awesome free content. Like we kind of pride ourselves on making better free content than most people's paid content. And that's probably why we're building so much trust and adding so much value. It speaks to also our depth. So when, in a lot of ways, people wonder, they go, well, wait a minute, if I put all my paid content behind stuff, like it'll hurt my business. I found that it doesn't hurt your business. And that basically my philosophy on free content is, it's just snippets of it. And if anyone was willing, like you could probably go to the fringes of the internet, find every single thing I teach without ever doing business with me, but that's fine. The people who are going to do that probably never would have been customers anyways. It's just all broken up into bits and pieces of content out here that drives to the webinar, but most people are like, just give me the fast track, man, and there's a lot of people that'll do business with you. So we'll make a video, YouTube content, like what's the best camera for YouTube? By the way, if you want to learn more, come here, but even a Facebook Live, Facebook Live, train for a while, do some Q&A. By the way, if you want to go deeper, look over my shoulder, then tubeinfluence.com. And lots of YouTube videos are out there. We just did different things at different times. So we have like learnyoutube.com. Right now they all redirect to the same place. Learnyoutube.com, tubemasterclass.com. Does that make sense? And I just keep making videos and they keep ranking. And there's another one and then another one. And then the other thing, and we could get through these 5 points, but then, I'll come back to that. So YouTube Live, creating higher quality content over time, because once you're doing it and if you've committed to a show, I would consider, can you hire somebody locally to help you create videos? You need to be the architect. You're the content creator, but can you hire someone to help you? Now, I know there's a movement for outsourcing and VAs, and that can work, but I found that literally someone locally is a good way to go. And that even depending on whatever stage of your business, I know I was scared at first because I talked to Omar, who's a friend, and I was like, okay, let's start working together. And he's like, how much do you want per hour? He's like, $40. I was like, how about 30? He goes, how about 35? I was like, how about 30? He's like, okay, 30. And I was like, good. But even 30 was tough at the time. But then what I learned was that we would do a shoot day, come over to our house, and I could shoot 4 videos in about 2 hours. That's $60. And it only takes someone 1 to 2 hours to edit a video. That's $30 to $60. And so that's $60 a week to have a weekly show. Can you guys do that in your business?
Yeah.
Would it be worth it? And he's doing it high quality work. He's got crispy footage, whatever. Now we've had relationship at Craigslist locally, interns at schools, like even if you pay, and that's more premium because we think of VA, we think like $10 an hour, so on and so forth. But also it might take them 10 hours to edit a video. Takes Omar 2 or less. Just boom, bangs it out.
So for someone who's like, I don't have the time, or they have struggle with consistency with doing this stuff, because almost everyone's thrown up a YouTube video in here, hopefully, and everyone's done a Facebook Live. So thinking that they don't have the time because maybe they're running a big business or a business that's not profitable but taking a lot of time, or their excuse is that they're like inconsistent, they forget about it. What's the best structure you've seen, like a fail-proof system that people in the room can just stick to without thinking about the results, without thinking about making money, but just doing it religiously? What's like a system we can put in place to make sure we do our show every single week?
Yeah, so one video.
Hiring is a good one.
So one video a week is the goal.
Minimum.
And I would say minimum, but even like, I just think this is scalable and sustainable. Like the problem with an unsustainable pace is that it's unsustainable. And so one video a week, I would much rather, in fact, I've seen people go on sprints and go daily for 4 months and then just crash and just like all of a sudden it just ends. It'd be much better to just go weekly for 5 years. And especially imagine what that would mean for always being able to send your newsletter, super valuable, FaceTime with you, learning from you, hearing from you, your weekly show that's teaching something actionable, that's getting them results, that's helping your audience, that's helping your tribe. So one video a week, just do 1 shoot day a month. 1 shoot day a month, 4 videos. That's it. And then, I mean, there's your plan. And
Come on, man, you're not giving us any excuses.
there's no excuses. 4 videos, and then just maybe eventually. Now, here's what I would say too. I would say that probably one of the biggest things that would hold all of us back is perfectionism, is like worrying about branding, is comparing our content to somebody else's content, and wanting our show to be all fancy. I would want you to start right now with 5 to 10 minute videos that have 0 editing. Just turn the camera on, talk to it, deliver the value, and then start your weekly show. A month later, add some bumpers and some cool like vibes in the beginning. A month later, add a cool lightning round segment that has sound effects. I mean, whatever you want to do, but like keep it really simple and then just scale towards doing it, and then just go 52 weeks a year. And all your video ideas are right there. So you just got, you have testosterone month. There's 4 videos. But then what's another topic?
Intermittent fasting.
Yeah.
Intermittent fasting.
Business growth, like.
So you could just put it around themes. But the idea of also creating a weekly show is twofold. One, it's outreach, but it's also inreach, right? It is just building that consistency with your own tribe. Go ahead. Kevin.
Cool. So cool. Teaching is one thing. So for me, one thing I'm really focused on this year is creating content around like lifestyle and behind the scenes. So I do have a video editor. So my question for you is, what is your go-to process or system that I could implement in turnkey, where I can like cool, like I have my stabilizers, I have my camera, I'm doing my thing, I'm here at the mastermind, I'm showing stuff, I'm talking, whatever. What would be your process in your mind of saying, hey, do this to capture this video, send this over to your video editor, create a folder for this, do that, and then you should have your video, if they're a silent video editor, in less than like a day or 2.
I think that, I want to talk on the lifestyle thing. I think that the lifestyle kind of angle is fine, but it's not what I would recommend. Because I think it's even a trend that is kind of, what happens is we see maybe different, and if you want to go that way, that's fine. But I would say rather than the lifestyle way, I would go the value way. I would do both, but these are value-based videos that get people a result. And I find that that's the biggest way to build trust online. You're getting RIA, results in advance. They watch your content, they learn something, it creates a connection. Then the lifestyle video that's like maybe a little Instagram snippet, whatever, that's cool. But so many people are doing that right now, And for a lot of us, I just don't think it's going to work. Like, at least to build relationships, because if I watch that, but I've seen 4 other people with hip hop and like the cars and the vibes and they're getting out of a private jet. I'm not saying it's necessarily that, but you know what I mean. Yeah. So many people doing that, like unto what? I can only watch so many shows of people that are on the entrepreneur hustle. If that works, it works, but like, again, it's a lot more practical. This works because someone meets me and they're like, holy crap, Sean just like broke down YouTube. He just taught a webinar that most people are charging for, but my depth goes deep in as far as how I can help people. And then the lifestyle stuff is supplemental, but also here it's much more sustainable. I want you to start like as simple as possible. You guys know Tim Ferriss? Yes. He talks about the minimum effective dose. I want you to do the minimum effective dose first, and I would rather you commit to, again, teaching, because that gives you a pillar of content and then lifestyle around it. But another example, so this is also becomes practical. One of our editors is in Guadalajara, Mexico. Her name's Gabby. And she's lethal now, but it took time to train her. And so we also wanted to scale back how complex things were. I really want you to keep things simple. Have like a 2 to 3 to 4 year vision. That means, like, again, no bumper, no fireworks, no whatever. Turn the camera on and teach for 5 minutes and do it every week, no excuses.
Yeah, so for me, like, that's non-negotiable. It's already happening.
Okay.
So
it is happening. It is?
Yes.
Weekly show has been coming out on YouTube.
Has not been coming out on YouTube.
Okay.
But I'm creating content right now, and I'm working with my homie Doug, and we're putting things in place in motion around that, right?
Got it.
So that's already in effect. My whole thing is I want to do a combination. So for me, I'm building a brand.
Completely.
From a branding standpoint, it's like, what are people thinking, feeling, and saying about you? So it's like, cool, you're teaching something, but it's also very important kind of tapping into the subconscious in a way too, of someone saying like, all right, cool, this dude knows his stuff, but also like, this is what he's actually doing too.
Yep.
For me to separate myself from everybody else who just, in my mind, and me too, just teaching, because there's a lot of teachers out there.
Yep.
That's cool. I want to do the other side of things too. So I'm going to do both. I want to do both. So what would be your thoughts around process?
So I still think I would marry that. Like half of a teaching video, you could introduce, here's what I'm going to teach you about branding, and then play that bumper that's 20 seconds. And that bumper can show me exactly what you're accomplishing and show me the lifestyle. And do in 20 seconds or 10 seconds, and you know what I'm talking about by a bumper, an intro that, there's the lifestyle, but like lean on value. Again, I feel like content that is going to win, and it's always been true, but like content that's going to win online that's really going to grow your influence is really valuable content.
Is it partially because people are going to discover him through searching anyway? Like,
It's because they're going to because it's also discoverability. How do you meet people? Search. And how do you and the only reason your videos will show up in search is if they deliver value. And you also don't want to delay, like if you got a 60-second intro showing like the cars and the vibe and so on and so forth. Like people are just trying to get to the answers first. When they meet you, trust is formed or a bond is formed. And then you can seed lifestyle over time. But that's why they should be following on Instagram. That speaks to different platforms having different purposes.
Yes, and that's for Instagram.
Yeah.
Specifically.
Yeah. So I think, you got it. Like I'll tell my team to like watch this person's stuff. That's one thing. Hey, or I'll just say that's like an actual great tip. See this, make this for us, and just give them a template of like somebody else's video. And then also the first time they usually do it, it's not that good, right? Like, or it takes them a while. But we want to train and develop people because we need to create leaders.
Cool. So,
Yeah.
On your live video, at the end, you still had the pop-ups. How did that work if you were still live?
So I did it after. So I went back and optimized it after. And because I was recording basically in real time with the replay in mind though, so I actually chose not to really answer questions, not do anything, because I just wanted to get that 10-minute video out. And so at the end, I was like, click the screen, because I knew I'd go back in and turn on the end card, yeah.
One more thing. You said one keyword phrase in one video. Can you explain that a little bit more when you're talking about?
So it'd be more like, instead of making a dissertation on crypto, what I would do is, if I have a cryptocurrency explained would be a video. Cryptocurrency news would be a weekly show, cryptocurrency news. And then check this out, right? When you go to that, you push another space. It also then goes today, live, latest, Tron. So one keyword is cryptocurrency news Tron. But cryptocurrency news Tron is not the same as Ripple. And as we start going longer tail, it's a lot better. You follow me?
So they get more hooks.
So more hooks and also more specific answer to the question. One video, one keyword, that's when you find this keyword, it tells you exactly what the video is about, and that's also why it's going to rank strategically. When someone wants to boost, it's different to want to boost your testosterone naturally than not naturally. Yeah. Way different. But if you just want to reach everybody who wants to boost their testosterone, it's too broad. So you want to go as sniper as possible on the video idea, and then it gives you more video ideas, and that's why you'll win, is because you'll be talking just about Ripple, and you just are not going general, because all the news is probably a lot of news, right? And then here's the underscore thing, so you can go underscore. Yeah, that also worked without it. Best cryptocurrency. Make your own cryptocurrency. Bitcoin and cryptocurrency technologies. Keeping in mind, too, that sometimes you might hear some of these titles, and they might not get you pumped. But if it's an opportunity, and what you know is real humans are searching these. So you might have never thought of titling a video called Best or Bitcoin and cryptocurrency technologies, but you search that, you see that nobody's on the other side. So you're like, okay. I guess there is, but then you see there is somebody, so that's part of research. So then there is somebody on the other side, kind of, whatever this is all about. But then that becomes your video idea. So what are the low competition testosterone ideas? And then you can do a bridge to answer that exact thing. So here's what I do in my videos too. Like if I'm trying to rank for best camera for YouTube, in the first 5 to 10 seconds, this is worth writing down, the first 5 to 10 seconds of any piece of online video content or social media content is critical. It doesn't matter if you produce the best video in the world with the best editing and the best, like the coolest video in the world. Look at your own analytics. It'll be very discouraging about like how much real consumption there is of, say, like your Facebook videos. People are not making it to the end. One reason is, again, if the nugget is at 8 minutes, but you don't create a teaser basically that lets people know in a provocative way, they'll never make it to the 8 minutes. As soon as The Walking Dead ends, there's always that guy with the tie on Talking Dead who's like, coming up, we're with this actor, with that actor, plus this crazy thing's going to happen. Stay tuned. Because as soon as the last show ends, he really wants you to stick around, so he teases what's about to come out. When you're watching Keeping Up with the Kardashians, I know probably one of the most popular shows here for all of us.
Love it.
But when you're watching any reality TV show, it teases the drama. It shows you the punch and the fight, and it shows you the crazy stuff so that you're like, oh, dang, that episode looks like it's going to be wild or whatever, and you actually watch. The first 5 to 10 seconds of your video need to hook to keep people watching your video. So I will say, are you looking for the best camera for YouTube? Well, in this video, I'm going to be talking about my top 5 picks for 2018 coming up. I say the exact keyword phrase that we're talking about, also not just as like a trick, because that exact video is about the exact thing that the person wants. And this is kind of like when the student is ready, the teacher appears. The reason I love search traffic the most is because all of the other traffic, and we do paid ads, and I want to touch on that a little bit, but the reason I love search traffic the most is paid ads is actually still interruption marketing. Paid ads is people are going about their day and you are interrupting them in their news feed, right? And I wasn't even thinking about you, but now you're like, hey, come look at me, come watch my webinar. Whereas search traffic, think about the psychology. The person's literally pain point. Like, I need to lose weight, I need to make more money, I need to save more money. They search for something and you show up. It'd be the difference between if right now we wanted to grow our MLM business and we went door to door knocking on doors, it'd take forever. We'd get a lot of rejections. People would be like, why are you interrupting my life? Search traffic is like people coming and knocking on your door looking for information.
Yeah, good point.
It's powerful.
So I was talking about searching, so my niche is like in salons. So when you put salon, you don't see too much searches. So is that a good niche? Is it a good problem, or?
Well, the question would be the actual business model. Like, why do you even want to search salons? Or
So build up. So like, that's what I'm doing. So it's like, how can I? Subject and searching what's the title and.
I wouldn't say, I don't think every niche this would work for. Like, not everything works for everything necessarily. So if I was going to try to build like my construction business, I don't know if that'd be the approach. Unless I wanted to become the attractive character of like construction tips across the board and maybe create a YouTube channel. I don't even know if that exists.
How to build the best salon and become like
here's the idea. You guys ever seen that like bar rehab show or whatever it's called?
Yeah.
Rescue.
What's it called?
Bar rescue.
Bar Rescue.
Yeah.
That's a guy. He's the bar rescue guy. And he's the attractive character. What's crazy though is we live in a world where we could create our own bar rescue show. Now it's not gonna be that fancy, but we could create our own show. And next thing you know, a couple years later, you're the bar rescue guy. You're like the salon rehab guy. Like I go to salons, I flip them and, you know, I don't know, like make them twice the value and rebrand. Like, so if you want to go down that path, if you just want some construction business, paid ads and some other things might make sense.
A question on the search and titles and everything. So when you're, like, for example, you look at Bitcoin and cryptocurrency technology. Can you, in the past what I used to do and play around is I would integrate two trending like keywords into one that almost like suck basically like multiple titles into one thing. How's that working now? Can we still do that? Like, let's say, for example, instead of saying Bitcoin cryptocurrency technology, I say the top 10 Bitcoin and cryptocurrency technologies for 2018. So I could two different.
That'd be great, but that is still the same thing. I think the theme or the idea behind one keyword, one video is the theme congruency. Like you wouldn't want to try to boost your testosterone and necessarily do intermittent fasting. You might, but still the search is testosterone. The answer is intermittent fasting. That's probably in the video, if that would help. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So yeah, you just want to keep it in alignment. And always, let's just get into like, always get into your target audience's shoes. So think in their shoes, like what is it they want to achieve? And that's what Google wants to rank. They want to serve the intent. It's a big word. Google wants to give the intent of the person searching the best answer possible. So your goal is to create a video that just gives people that best answer. And when people go, whoa, frick, I've never heard it that way. And dang, I tried it and it worked. And they start talking about that in the comments. That's why Google will reward you with ranking the video. It's not the fanciest video or the prettiest video. It's the best answer to the question.
I feel like I've been going around YouTube like all wrong. Like you look at bloggers, and who would ever type in vlog 233 as a search?
Completely.
And it just seems so ridiculous. Like for a business idea, it seems stupid to do that now.
And this is why, so a lot of people that want to do YouTube, again, this is why I actually recommend people don't vlog. Most of the vloggers that I know, and I have a lot of friends that are famous vloggers, they built their influence with like a value, how-to based kind of model first, and then transfer that influence because people were interested in their life, particularly online as well. But so a lot of times we look at maybe like a Gary Vee or a D-Rock and we want that kind of a thing, but we don't have, keep in mind, he did a weekly wine show 5 days a week for 1,000 episodes that built his celebrity and his influence so big that tons of people started paying attention to him and he was keynoting on stages and whatever. So it was a 12-year journey for him. And now in the last year, he's vlogging, but there was 11 years of influence build first. And I feel like this is the most practical way to build your influence is to meet people with the questions that they're asking.
What are like 3, I guess, tips to keep people engaged throughout the whole video? I mean, I don't know if that's like too broad of a question.
It's a huge question, and very practically, number one, that first 5 to 10 seconds. That first 5 to 10 seconds, here is 3 tips. Number one is the hook. You need to say something to me that makes me want to watch to the end. Tip number 1 is numbers. Numbers are huge because for part of the human brain, we want to complete numbers, meaning 5. That's why your title could be 5 ways to boost your testosterone naturally. Because if I love tip number 1, I need to get to tip number 5 because I need all 5. Give people structure. That's just good for teaching. So numbers is one way. The other thing you could say is in this video, I'm going to be sharing 5 controversial. Now we're just talking about marketing, persuasion, language. I'm going to be sharing with you 5 controversial ways to boost your testosterone naturally, plus a little known secret that Olympic athletes have been using to boost their performance coming up. Was that a pretty good hook? Yeah. I don't even know anything about this stuff.
What is it?
So, yeah, I know. Wait. What is the little known secret? So, but that's a reason now. So that first, I spend sometimes 10 to 20 minutes crafting, and I'll actually script my opening sentence. I don't script my videos. I just bullet point my videos. But that opening sentence, it's everything. Because if they're not like wanting to stick around after watching that, it doesn't matter how good point number 5 is. They'll never make it. So I'll give you 3 really quick. So 3 is do that. 2, if you can, they do say alternating camera angles or whatever. So I'd say this, visuals. So whiteboard though, you could still go real time. And has anyone seen Brendan Burchard teach? Brendan Burchard teaches on a whiteboard. He teaches behind sticky notes so that he doesn't have to, so he can pre-write the points and he could just say number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, and number 5. But the thing is, it's the whole time I'm staring at the video, I'm like, what is under freaking door number 5, bro? It's psychology though. It is keeping your attention. Whereas if you're just a talking head, you were looking at a little bit less. Yeah. So I teach on slides, webinars, like a little bit of that, and I actually use PowerPoint. And even if I'm using Google Hangouts and a webcam, I want there to be, I go back and forth between my face and the content. And so, and then the last thing would be just the grind of producing good content, number 3. Meaning, you're really only as good as your last at bat. Yeah. And so, it is a privilege to have someone put their eyes on your content ever. When you have that chance, just deliver the goods. And again, you don't need to impress them with fancy stuff. If they're like, boom. All of us know those unlock moments when we maybe consumed something, or you had that pain point online, you're trying to fix your pressure washer, and you finally found a video that showed you how to do it. You're like, dude, this guy's my new freaking best friend, man. It took me forever to figure that out. Like, when you just get people answers, and especially if you build up a pillar of a weekly show, they're just like, I just keep coming back because this stuff is good. You just don't want it to be good 6 times in a row, because then we were all like that too. Think about that. Like the podcast, we've all probably listened to podcasts that were like, man, every week, dude, this is fire. It's good. There's a takeaway every week. You go 4 weeks with no takeaway on a podcast, are you going to keep listening to that show?
No.
Of course not. So just think about it like that, and think about what you want too. You might like the fancy like intros and so on and so forth, but I want something that'll grow my business. I want a case study that's going to give me an unlock. I want that tip that needs to just get me that answer, gets me that result.
So you guys are monetizing now through courses and stuff like that, but when you first started, it was mostly through affiliate marketing and whatnot. So what was the best way to ask for someone to buy the product through your link as opposed to just going and getting it themselves? And how did you do that?
So I would almost never ask, but I would always just let people know that the links are in the description below. So I would just say, and I would do early call to actions. That's worth writing down. The ECTA, because if you study your analytics on YouTube or any social platform, most people are not making it to the end. So you don't want just a call to action at the end. So maybe I would do it one of 2 ways. In a video, I would say like, what is the best camera for YouTube? I'm going to talk about in this video coming up. My bumper drops, little intro. And actually, let's just watch that really quick, because Kevin too, I think like even just a bumper can again tell a lot of a story and be kind of fancy in a very short amount of time. And you have kind of the best of both worlds of branding and maybe content and teaching.
How's it going? Today I want to show you my awesome new Wix website. It's got everything I love all in one place.
In this video, I'm going to be going through my 7 steps that I do for every YouTube shoot to get ready and get the best results, plus my best camera settings. Coming up.
I mean, whatever. 5 seconds.
Hey, what's up, Sean here with Big Media, bringing you the best tips and tools for building your influence with online video. And on this channel, we do a lot of tips and Sean,
how do you do that?
How to do what? Omar did it.
Yeah. Huh?
Omar did it.
Okay, that's what I was going to say. So
Yeah.
Omar did it.
But it's called VideoHive, videohive.net. And videohive.net, you could just go type in like bumpers, and you could do one of 2 things. Because once that's made, like if you just get that made once, you could just use it on your $45 webcam, but now you've enhanced, you have a little bit of branding maybe at the beginning and the end. So that's also what Brendan does, or whoever, is he just teaches from like, it's crispy, sets it up, you got the lighting going, but then at the end, it cuts to something that's pre-made, and he just uses that thing over and over, and that's a little more fancy with music and vibes and stuff.
Is there like a magic number of how many bumpers to use? Do you always switch it up? Are they always different? Do you just have the same bumper?
I have like the same one for a year at a time usually, or longer.
What's the title of that video?
It's that little, by the way, do you notice the hook? Yeah, so I'm like religious about that hook and then the bumper. And if you want to write down my video formula, here it is. Number 1 is the hook. That's your 5 to 10 seconds. Here's a template just to make videos. Again, even if I do this on, this is my same template that I use for a live stream. So I would do it straight through, or you can edit it straight through. So it goes the hook, 5 to 10 seconds, maybe 15, as long as it needs to be. If you really want to seed it and you're like, so recently I was in a back channel cryptocurrency meeting, and we learned about 3 big, you know what I mean? But like really like paint the drama, paint the story, pull people into like why should they watch? It might be a 30-minute video. Spend some time selling why they should spend their time watching all 30 minutes and seeding what's there. So it's the hook, it's the bumper if you are editing. I like a little short, 5, 10 seconds at the most. And then it's the introduce yourself and let people know who you are and why you're here. You're always speaking, and what you're doing online, you're always speaking to 2 different audiences. Too many people sometimes speak only to their own audience. What's up, guys? Welcome back. I'm not what's up, guys. It's my first time here, bro. Like, who are you? So I'm always like, hey, what's up? Sean here with Think Media, bringing you the best tips and tools for building your influence with online video. What's your tagline? How do you concisely say who you are and how you help people? What's your elevator pitch? My name's Sean, bringing you the best tips and tools for building your influence with online video. And on this channel, we do a lot of tech gear reviews as well as tips and strategy videos just like this one. So if you're new here, consider subscribing. But today, so a little introduction, that's just your intro. Especially if you can build an authority, and some of the best authority could be, you know, New York Times bestselling author, or you might say, you know, the guy who, whatever. However you want to build a little bit of authority, intro and authority. Then just the content. The content's what matters. The content goes right in the middle, and that's your 3 points, your 5 points. Then the question of the day, good thing that I recommend everybody use. Content's over. Question of the day reminds you to always ask a question of the day so that you can get engagement. How do you can't get that engagement if you don't ask.
What does that look like for you? Question of the day, example.
Question of the day. What camera are you currently using to shoot your videos, and what kinds of tutorials would you like me to do in the future? Let me know in the comment section below. Question of the day should be an underhanded softball pitch.
And it's asking them to comment.
Asking them to comment. Do not make the question of the day. If you get stumped and you're like, I'm not sure actually, you know, like then they're not going to answer. You want that to be easy to answer. Let me know in the comment section below. And then close and call to action. So thanks for checking out this video. Subscribe for more videos just like this. And if you want to check out the other videos in this YouTube camera tutorial series, just click or tap the screen right here. For another video from Think Media, click or tap the screen right here. Until next time, Think Media is bringing you the best tips and tools for building your influence with online video. Keep crushing it, and we will talk soon. Let's check it out.
You might have said that.
Yeah.
Batch producing video, shooting 4 to 8 videos all at once. We have all of that in a video, so you can watch that. Just click the YouTube card, and we'll also link to that YouTube checklist video.
That's just a little tool. YouTube lets you link to your own stuff called YouTube cards.
What camera are you using to create YouTube videos? Let me know in the comment section below. And also, if you have any questions or ideas for future tutorials, let me know about those as well in the comment section. So thanks for checking out this video. Subscribe for more videos just like this. And if you want to check out that video with my full shoot day checklist, just click or tap the screen right there. For another video from Think Media, just click or tap the screen right there. Until next time, Think Media is bringing you the best tips and tools for building your influence with online video. Keep crushing it, and we will talk soon.
Sean, can you give those 5 again? So hook, 5 to 10 seconds.
Yep.
Content, and then...
And bumper if you want. Bumper if you want. Then the introduction and authority build. What's your tagline? And I should probably like, you know, I don't want to say, you know, top 20 YouTube channels for business in Forbes. It's kind of hard to say, but it's true. Dab on them haters. You know, and then, okay, so then your intro, your content, your question of the day, and then your close and your call to action. On a Facebook Live, I will go live. And on a Facebook Live, now we just completely kind of pivot here, but the replay value of a Facebook Live is also, in my opinion, much more important than even the live stream, or they're equally important. And too many people neglect the replay. Biggest Facebook Live mistake, is this thing on? Are we going? Hey, let's wait for a while. Let's wait for some people to come on. All right, we're gonna vibe in just a second and start. Here's how I started Facebook Live. In this video, I'm gonna be sharing with you 5 tips for how to boost your testosterone. Now, no one's even there yet. Who am I talking to? Replays. So I actually script the hook, I say the hook, introduce myself in this video. I'm gonna be sharing the top 5 cameras for 2018, but hey, if we're just meeting, my name's Sean, and my passion is helping you build your influence, income, and impact with online video. I'm a full-time lifestyle entrepreneur, run a media company here out of Las Vegas with about 6 employees, and I'm pumped for the live stream today. So let me know where you're watching from in the comments below. I vibe for a while, and then eventually I'll restart, but I want the replay to see that. We're gonna start in just a second. But today's topic is this. I introduce myself again, dive into the content, questions throughout, and then at the end, close and usually give a call to action, webinar, freemium, lead magnet, somewhere else you want to send people. Same framework, more or less, just tweaked to be contextualized for Facebook.
You're not going to go into all 5 of those tips, or are you?
I would go into all 5.
Okay.
Yeah, whatever.
I was gonna think maybe you make 5 videos earlier. You might make 5 videos and just do 1 tip each.
If it was a YouTube, because YouTube is going to be the sniper keywords. So if it made sense to like talk about Ripple and then Tron or whatever these other things, you know, whatever those are, it's 1 video, 1 keyword, rather than talk about all 5 in 1 video.
Going back to your funnel there, so I'm just kind of curious, is this worth doing without a funnel, just with the YouTube revenue and the affiliate links? Or, in other words, what percentage of your income comes from the funnel versus the other 2?
It's probably not worth it for anybody in this room because it's a long road. Okay. It takes a long time to monetize a lot. Like it is, YouTube is for sure a marathon and not a sprint. So again, that one path is like those 20 videos that could help build your business. Why not? And you can always send people to them. Number 2, though, if you do want to build a brand there, it does make sense. So we get about 170,000 clicks on affiliate links. That's the other thing. I think it's niche related. I help people with cameras. Well, those are expensive. There's a lot of interest. And at scale, I can do over 6 figures on just Amazon. Other people, like, what even are you selling? You can just play out the math on how long it would take to do affiliates. So originally, we did YouTube videos. So YouTube was at the center, and we just keep ranking videos. And we did affiliates first, and eventually, when I went full-time doing this, I was able to, we got to about 5K a month, so we were doing about 60K, and then in over a year, that went to 100K just on affiliates. Then when we started getting enough YouTube views, I don't think you should do YouTube views, here's the math. Well, you can, but it's $2 per 1,000 views. So if you want to make $2,000 a month, you need 1 million views a month. That is freaking insane. It's very hard to get that much traffic. So, but if you have the personality, you want to, you know, get to, it might be a path. But for us, we also, because of what will happen over time if you create high quality content that attracts an audience that's also relevant for advertisers, because a lot of camera brands want to advertise on this. Like, this is a good audience. They're people who are looking to spend money and whatnot. So now we do about 7K in YouTube ads just on this one channel per month. And then affiliates now, as far as per month, is probably like 15K or so, or 15 to 20.
Did the ad revenue go up with the demonetization then?
Yes, because they're kind of cleaning out lower quality channels and it's pushing CPM up for everybody else. So all we do is win.
But the first year, it's okay not to have your funnel built. You can just
yeah.
channel kind of a thing, and then worry about the funnel down the road once you actually have an audience.
And I think it's even smart because, yeah, that's we should all be on this like sprint. It is like a golden era right now, and I don't think it'll always be this good. And so that is, it's trying to. We talk about how to build your influence, income, and impact. It all starts with influence. If no one's paying attention, you can always figure out later. And I would say the other thing we do on affiliates would be like other affiliate programs. And actually, I'm glad that came up because here's an example. I know you guys know network marketing. You know Organifi. So I have another channel where I just do experiments on. Doesn't really have an audience. But if you go like Best Greens Powder, which is super weird, and that's kind of been my specialty. It's just like trying to think outside of the box. And what are weird like paths that could be leading to your business that you discover the phrase like that, or leading to a way that you want to monetize. And so I did this video, and year old. It's actually about 650 days old.
See that guy? That used to be me. Is it a different channel? I started my
Yeah, it's just my Sean Cannel channel. It's what I started with originally, and now I just do like tests and experiments there. These double ads, man, are cool. I don't know what's going on.
I know,
So in this video, I'm going to do a quick review of Organifi green juice.
There's the hook.
Superfood powder, and talk about some of the pros, cons, and some money-saving tips coming up. Hey, what's up? Sean Cannel here, and if this is your first time on this channel, thank you so much for stopping by. I am a full-time...
That video generates $200 to $300 a month. It has been generating that much for the last 650 days, and it doesn't look like it's stopping in this year. Just off, because it's 30% commissions on Organifi, and if someone signs up, continuity kicks in. So like if they subscribe monthly, then that commission comes in monthly. So how many times would you have to do that over and over again? And that's a little more specific, a little more sniper on like a keyword. So then that's like other programs like that. We probably do another like 50K a year in like specific affiliate programs. Sometimes that could be like even internet marketing stuff, like promoting other people's offers, but that usually happens in email. And then we started digital courses.
How do you set those up, Sean? How do you go to the companies? Like Organifi and those types?
Well, so it's kind of, this might get confusing. Organifi, I'm also an ambassador, but there's also just the ClickBank affiliate side of things. And they actually, it's two different kind of departments of their business. But the ClickBank side, the ambassador side does not pay you continuity. It only pays you that 15% or whatever when someone uses your code. The ClickBank side is set up, structured a little bit more like I am. Most people wouldn't even think on that level. But I was even so I have two different videos. And one, if I promote on social, like, hey friends, use my code, I use this, I like this, that makes sense on the ambassador side. It was more of a stories thing. Over here, it was that. It was more like the tracking link, letting people subscribe, and because they didn't offer continuity, I went with the ClickBank route on that video.
So two questions. Now that I know that you're doing some of the, I guess, direct affiliate stuff where there's a higher payout and stuff like that, are you running ads to these videos as well? Like YouTube ads specifically?
Yeah, so here's what we've learned, and I like, the one thing I wanted to also talk about, so I'll tell you what we do with paid ads. We only spent like 55K last year on ads, and so we're trying to double that, you know, not just because we want to spend money, but because it's profitable, and maybe triple that this year, or quadruple that. And so what I found though, most of where our ads is found when you build up organic traffic like this is just on retargeting. Like we are creating so much warm traffic by creating so much value too. That's why if you put out valuable content, you can put ads to your YouTube subscribers. Remember this law. No one is paying as much attention as you think they are. Nobody is. Like even people who are on your email list, you know that. They complain 2 months later when they unsubscribe. They already forgot about you. Like, and so what some of the things we're doing is massive retargeting. People who hit this page, we have the pixel here. Every email we get, we are always uploading those and doing custom audiences. Probably one of the biggest opportunities in your business, I'm sure some of you are doing this, is even just doing a lot of warm audiences off of your email addresses. Is anybody doing that? Anybody have an email list and you're using custom audiences off of those? That's everything. I mean, we're finding, now mind you, we're getting a lot of traffic, but an important thing to write down, Salesforce released some stats that it takes 6 to 8 touch points to generate a viable sales lead in the world we're living today. I think Tony Robbins says it's double that. 6 to 8 touch points before you get a viable sales lead. 8 interactions with you, your brand, your content, before even trusting you with an email. And so what I've learned is that magic for us is happening because it goes YouTube video to YouTube video. A goal eventually is to build a library of content, your show on your channel over time, that's bingeable. You want people, it's the new trend, right? It's Netflix. You want people to like discover you because they need some testosterone tips, but then be like, my frickin', that's some tips, man. So what happens next? Well, then it's the next tip. And they're like, dang, that was good. But then it was like, yo, I want to do business. So then it goes to another, touch point. They saw you on Facebook Live, and the reason they saw that is because you boosted that after the fact to the email addresses you have or whatever. But we try to do all of these touch points out here, and then eventually someone jumps here. So I'm not even too concerned with actually giving call to actions in every video. In fact, my current formula is, it used to be every YouTube video at the end, it was like sign up for a webinar, sign up for a lead magnet, download a PDF. Now I like to do 1 out of 4 sends people away from YouTube, but 3 keeps people on YouTube. So at the end of that video, did you see I said, you know, there was no call to a webinar, there was no call to action. I was pointing to other videos on YouTube because it was understanding 6 to 8 touch points and how much YouTube is rewarding us for just like getting more watch time, getting more vibe over here, and it's building more trust. So eventually when someone, what I just know is that they will watch different things and then eventually they'll be like, dude, I should watch this guy's freaking webinar. It's probably gonna be pretty good. They end up here and then start going that way off of the webinar. Does that make sense?
Do you only start retargeting once they hit tube influence or something like that? Or are you targeting them if they like subscribe to your channel and stuff?
So yeah, we'll target audiences that are crushing for us are our YouTube subscribers, our email addresses of any kind, because we know that's warm, our Facebook likes, our pixels, our Facebook video consumption. We'll do a lot of putting out native Facebook videos, but only hitting people that have watched 50 to 75% because we know there's more depth there. But the other big one is custom audiences of buyers. Write a big light bulb or like a lightning bolt and put that one down. If you already have buyers, who does? You have like a list of buyers. Those email lists, this specifically in Facebook and YouTube, upload your buyers, 100 people, create a custom audience on top of that, and we're kind of deep now, but, and then that turns in, so like our 100 buyers will turn into an audience of 1 or 2 million people, and then we layer targeting on top of that. You follow me? So 200 people bought VRA, we upload that to Facebook, that turns into an audience of 2 million people, lookalike audience, but then we say who are 25 to 35 male, that like Lewis Howes, Gary Vaynerchuk, and we're just at this, you know, whatever else.
Do you have any control over your, I just got an email from YouTube after I subscribed to you, and they sent me like a list of other YouTube channels that I subscribed to. Do you have any control over that? Like how do you...
I don't, but what you just got, because you just got like a push of my video, like, yeah that's kind of cool. Yeah, so that's, part of that is this. The control you have is your consistency. 1 video a week, 52 weeks, keep showing up, keep doing the best practices. Yeah, YouTube wants, but you gotta create the content. Yeah, create the good content and put that out there, yeah.
If you have like multiple passions, like for example, let's say you want to talk about hiking one day and cryptocurrency the next, is that possible under the same channel, or is it better to split that into separate channels for each passion that you want to?
My recommendation is that I think I would keep it separate in the sense where if I subscribe to you for crypto advice, and then think about, and a lot of us don't think about this because we want to get into the psychology of the YouTube user. So I use the YouTube. Does anyone here actually, and be honest, like you might not, do you use the YouTube app? Do you watch YouTube? Okay, so if you use the YouTube app, which that would actually be some good homework, is actually watch some YouTube, subscribe to some channels of people that are consistent, that are killing it, that are doing what you would like to do. But as I go through the YouTube app and I look through, like there's, you know, insane weight abs or whatever, you know, the latest Nokia phone, I think about what I actually skip over though. That's actually what I pay attention to. I'm like, yeah, I don't care, I don't care, I don't care, I don't care. And then I wonder, do people think about that on my video? So problem is, if I subscribe to you for cryptocurrency, and then I'm like, hiking, what is this? I just want crypto answers. Now, the hybrid approach to that would be if you somehow married the two, just like, you know, literally kind of like that, but like you're like, you know, what we literally, like we talk crypto tips outdoors. And that could be a thing, it could work. I think about like, we call it like double niching, or you can marry two. What's a good example of, like maybe Mad Money is kind of a good example or something, where you take an idea of just teaching money, but you do it you're crazy, you're the outrageous guy about it, or you're the guy who always does it from his car, like crypto car talks. I mean, that'd be the only thing, but again, if I want crypto information, if I want hiking tips, I do want to subscribe to a different channel. So, yeah.
No, I know exactly what you're talking about, because there was this guy yesterday, because I was looking up how to like boost YouTube engagement, and this guy was literally like mobbing around like a super dope, like artsy kind of city, and he was literally just dropping bombs, but like in the background, he was just walking around a dope ass city with artwork everywhere. So you can do the same shit with crypto and hiking.
Yeah.
Theoretically.
You totally can. You should even.
That's his whole MO on his channel.
I was going up the mountain and down the mountain, and it totally reminded me of how crypto works because I made it to the summit, and then all of a sudden I went all the way back down to the bottom again. And I changed it.
Without falling.
And I lost my hands.
Is closed captioning the big?
I wanted to jump off the
Yeah, it is pretty big. So we use rev.com, rev.com, $1 a minute. Great resource. You know, you do a 10-minute video, $10. You have that closed caption file. YouTube will do it auto for you, but it doesn't give it as much weight because it gets kind of 90% there, but there's errors. So when you upload your own file, now the words in your video become searchable. And that's where, again, a big mistake, one of the biggest mistakes I see entrepreneurs make with YouTube is they think about what they want to teach, they create the content, that it's done, then they sit down and be like, all right, how should I title this? And that's the wrong order. You actually want to research exactly what the title is, and that's even what you're saying. That's why when you know your title, you want to keep talking about boosting your testosterone naturally. You're like, third tip for boosting your testosterone naturally. In a way, you're keyword stuffing verbally your video. Now, you don't need to keyword stuff your video, but if Google listens to it and you never say what you're talking about, they're going to know. And if you're saying it a lot, and there's all the algorithms always studying it, so closed caption is an important reinforcement. Yeah.
Do you have any tips on how to build like that attractive character, like the talk show host kind of thing, or is it just like be yourself and have more energy on video?
Yeah, I would say a couple things. I do think energy. I'm glad you brought that up. They say the camera adds 10 pounds. That camera takes away 50% energy. So you should double your energy when you're on camera just to appear normal. And it might feel awkward for you at first, but too many people come across with low energy because camera just kind of reduces the energy. Pump it up, charge it up. As far as attractive character, I do think you just want to get comfortable in your own skin. Being yourself is absolutely the best way to be because that's going to be where you're in congruence and alignment. But I do think just like going to speaker training or working on communication, at the end of the day, we're talking about communication. So being able to articulate your ideas, establish your authority, be confident, be assertive, just bring your goods, but do it in your own way. Because we don't need an imitation. We want you to be the best you. And this actually, I want to answer this. It's a good quote, which I think is true for social media, YouTube especially, but social media in general. Sally Hogstead wrote a book called Fascinate. And the quote is, and I believe this, if you want to win on social media and YouTube in 2018 and beyond, it's this: different is better than better. Different is better than better. That's why I think for all of us in this room, that's why we don't need to become the next Gary Vaynerchuk. In some case, just thinking because he's so big on social, a lot of people want to D-Rock, and that's fine. You should get a videographer, but everyone wants to make his show. I've seen people echo Daily V, and it just fails. Partly because they're not him, partly because they don't have the influence, but also because you're maybe wearing shoes that don't fit. If you're talking biblical, it's like David being like, I don't want to wear Saul's armor, man. I want to go out with my slingshot because that's my thing. And I think you want to be your own self. How can you bring, YouTube needs your perspective, your style, your unique vibe, your unique take on your industry and niche, and you being 100% congruent and fully yourself. And that's what's going to attract and resonate with your audience. And it's also going to be what's sustainable, because when you try to be somebody else, it's exhausting. But yeah, just really refine your own voice, but then level up your own voice. Strengthen your strength, strengthen your communication.
So, real quick, can you give one way that you build your, because you kind of know how you are in real life, one way that's your strength on camera?
Yeah.
Can you talk about what you're focusing on, or?
Like when I think about how to be on camera?
How your attractive character is.
So I think, I think about my presentation. I think about, I shower the days to get a film. It sounds funny, but I think about getting ready. We batch produce photos, so I'll get the outfits ready, which is usually just a shirt change. I have a prize fighter morning routine that I want to do, especially on shoot day, because I want to be present. I want to get into the right state to deliver, just like you would deliver a keynote. And I don't necessarily see it at that same level, but you want to bring your best energy and whatnot. So I want to get into the right state on a shoot day. And I do think about intentionally bringing my energy. And then I also just think about practice, though. I think, do it a lot. Your first videos are going to be your worst videos. And so a lot of times, sometimes somebody will get a video and send it to me, their first, which is cool. They'll be like, my first video's done. What do you think? How can I make it better? I'm like, I don't even need to open it because I bet it's not that good. And I'm not putting you down. I'm saying I know for me, I had to do 50 videos and then 100 videos before I even felt like I was doing awful. And then, you know what I mean? Like, you just got to get them out there, but also not be afraid that, like, just to get them out as you go. I've referenced Gary a lot, but he talks about it took him 50 episodes of Wine Library TV before he discovered his voice. And it took him a year of posting a 5-day-a-week show before anyone started watching. And so, again, we had the two paths as we land the plane, and the one path was maybe just put a few videos that could rank for you, but if you want to start a show, YouTube is for sure a marathon and not a sprint, but it's worth investing in, because if you build, again, digital real estate and digital influence that you can leverage not just presently for your business, but for your children and for legacy and for your future, what's it worth to have an entrepreneur show 5 years from now that has massive influence, or whatever your niche is? It's worth a lot. Just put in the work up front and you can definitely get there.
Sean, what time do you have to leave?
Whatever.
I mean, you hop on a plane.
Yeah, no, I got to pack and stuff too, but I know I got time.
Okay, cool.
It's a little bit
'Cause
later.
I want to make sure that for the last questions, maybe we could have some people ask you some questions on the side.
Yeah.
If it's beneficial to the group, obviously post in the group, but this will go on forever, literally, if we don't stop.
yeah. Sure.
That's a good thing, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's always the worst when they're like, okay, anyone want to do Q&A? And you have to like
They're like,
people
they're like, nah.
answer the question. It means it didn't really, so it sparked a bunch of questions, so we're going to hold all questions for him. We're going to have a 10-minute break here in a second. So give a round of applause for Sean.
Thank you.
Could you guys see how beneficial that was? Yeah?
Yeah. You're welcome.
Yeah, thank you, Sean. Even for me, I'm like, I see how I was doing everything wrong, and it's like that realization, like the shift in your mind going, why haven't I been doing this? It almost seems like you're stupid that you have not been doing this. What's up, Chase?
I have a question I think everybody can benefit from that he didn't go over, but I'm sure you have a lot of expertise in. And I'd rather not ask it on the side because I think a lot of people would benefit.
Why didn't you ask it earlier?
I didn't want to, but.
You came in, Nicholas.
Do you have any tips or feedback on how to organize your YouTube page with your channels, like how to, like the format of the YouTube page? I know you're gonna say it's my personality type.
No, I don't think so. The important thing to know is that YouTube pages are organized by playlists, and so that's actually a brilliant question, because your YouTube channel. A couple things to think. Your YouTube channel. This will probably help a lot of you too if you haven't started and you're trying to figure out about how to fit maybe multiple different things into a particular niche. And so sometimes we're like, shoot, how can I talk about maybe like men's style as it pertains to entrepreneurship, but also maybe a little bit of lifestyle as it pertains to like making cocktails or like summer movies or whatever, as well as like business. That's GQ Magazine.
100%.
And GQ Magazine is crystal clear as far as a brand. So some YouTube channels are random, but there's no cohesive theme, and it doesn't make sense, and it confuses people. Your branding needs to be crystal clear, because how can anybody follow you if even you don't know where you're going in your messaging and in your branding, right? But GQ is a really clear brand, and you could, under your umbrella of a theme like that, you could talk about style, fitness, and whatnot, and it all makes sense under GQ. So in answer to your question, your YouTube channel is also kind of like a magazine. It's also kind of like a TV network. So your YouTube channel is AMC. Your shows, if you make more than one show, one is Walking Dead, one is The Comic Book Men. Some people watch Walking Dead. Not everybody watches Comic Book Men, but people love AMC, and you're maybe subscribed to AMC, but you don't like every show. So if you want to organize your YouTube channel, you can organize it into different shows. It's one way to make things cohesively, or just different buckets, different themes. And the way that this is how.
So what is the best camera for YouTube this year when it comes to price and features?
And actually, we probably have.
I'm going to be reviewing my.
Let me just give you one. Probably better branding is our channel Video Influencers. So we do a weekly interview show, right? With. Oh my gosh, how does this work, Nicholas? Oh, here we go. Okay. What happened here? So we have like interviews with entrepreneurs, interviews with YouTubers, tips and strategy videos.
Are you trying to figure out how to use
This is a good
online
channel
video
trailer
to
too, by the
build
way.
your influence and your income? If so, then you're in the right place. I'm Sean, I'm Benji, and together we have over 20 years combined experience in video production, online marketing, and both of us are full-time YouTubers. Here on Video Influencers, we help you build your influence, grow your income, and make a greater impact with YouTube and online video. Every week we bring you interviews with top YouTubers. And I'm sitting here with Nikki Novakis, Nice Dad, Dulce, Candy, Hugh Shea Carl, Denny.
So video marketing and YouTube tips is a playlist, and over time you build under that idea. Interviews with YouTubers, interviews with entrepreneurs using video. Some people overlap in both places, other people don't. We've had different guests. Popular uploads, video and lighting tips. These are buckets, and so when you start organizing, it could be, you might go style, health, business, and create maybe different shows. Start with one or start with a variety show. That's just an idea, yeah.
One thing that Anthony said is he realized that he tends to attract a demographic that looks like him. And I think as like in my business with skiing, I was thinking that I was gonna attract these like 40-year-old Texas people that were gonna learn how to ski.
Hey.
And reframing, I'm wondering if you, when you do a look-alike audience, does it generally look kind of like you, your age, your interests, or does your demographic, because that might be like Nick attracting a group of people that's very similar to him. And so I'm starting to realize that the people that you kind of attract as a tribe really reflect kind of who you are.
It's scary. Like our biggest audience on Think Media is 25 to 35-year-old males. I'm a 35-year-old, I'm 34 and I look 26. So like, and then even on Facebook, it's like 25 to 35-year-old males who like Lewis Howes is like your most, it just tells me, you know, that's your most popular audience or whatever. So yeah, but what's crazy is, again, that speaks to having that targeted avatar. If you want to like learn more about avatar, I'm sure you've heard a lot about it, but John Lee Dumas JLD has one blog that like really can help you sniper in your avatar. But again, once you define that, plenty of people will be outside of that, but that core typically is what looks like you.
Do you find
Sure.
a shift in the older generation looking at YouTube videos?
Yeah, definitely. It's going that way. And just again, as a preview of what's coming, but also what's here. You know, I'm a millennial. Our routine now, if my wife and I sit down, like we don't sit down at night, and we actually sit down at night on our smart TV, you know, 4K, and we open up the YouTube app first, and we catch up with like a couple of YouTubers we like. We don't even watch cable, right? And so that, I mean, and that's us, obviously, but that's kind of where it's going. And also the increase of even smart TVs and mobile, tablet, like attention is just going there. YouTube launched YouTube TV. Anybody see the ads, especially during the world, like, and even on YouTube TV, this is true, this is kind of a long shot, but at least it'll show us the strategy. If you watch Shark Tank on YouTube TV, when the show ends, it'll recommend the next episode, but also it'll recommend videos from creators on YouTube down the list. So think about though, that's a foreshadowing of where things are going. So if they finished an episode of Shark Tank and you had this entrepreneur show, you could be getting traffic off of that awareness, and the lines are blurring between whether it's Shark Tank or whether it's your show. It's the same thing. One's kind of fancy and produced, but people also love the shows that aren't fancy and produced on YouTube, and those channels are crossing over. If you search the character Tom Cruise, you're going to see movies from Tom Cruise on YouTube TV. Maybe he was on Saturday Night Live, you'd see him on there, but you might see Charisma on Command, super cool YouTube channel, by the way, called Charisma on Command. You might see their video about 10 leadership secrets we can learn from Tom Cruise. Smart, because it's hacking culture, it's fame jacking, hacking the popularity of Tom Cruise, but it could be getting search traffic and suggested traffic from YouTube because of that. Anyways.
Cool, appreciate you.
Yeah.
Thanks so much.
Yeah.
Awesome. Hey, Sean, is there a way for people to get like more connected if they have another question, like maybe an email or something like that, where they can ask a couple more things?
Yeah, best thing is there is a couple good YouTube channels to watch and subscribe to. One is Video Influencers, and then one is Think Media. You saw those. And so I'm your guy, like if you need help with video or just looking for cameras or information. And then support@SeanCannel.com, that'll get to me. Support@SeanCannel.com. It'll just go through my team, but if it's a question or whatnot, they'll probably help you on the front end and then whatever you need. So.
Awesome. Let's give Sean an actual real good 2 clap. 2 clap.